Sheep Show 2026 in Reno is almost here and registration is open. Sign up, book your hotel, and browse the schedule at wildsheepfoundation.org. Full registration gets you into the draw for a heavyweight sheep camp gear package worth over $10,000. Make sure you're there January 22nd to 24th for the biggest mountain hunting and conservation event of the year. If Reno isn't in the cards, the Wild Sheep Society of BC's Salute to Conservation and Mountain Hunting Expo is set for February 26 to 28 in Penticton. Details at wildsheepsociety.com. And check out our friends at North Arm Knives. From kitchen knives to hunting blades, they've got you covered from the field to the butcher block. Visit northarmknives.com. Hey guys, welcome to episode 197. Excited to have my good friend Adam Janke back on the podcast. It's been a little while. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Anyways, it's been a while, and this was kind of fun, man. He's been at it for a decade, as of we coming up here in the spring. But Adam's been a lot more dedicated, and of course, he has the Journal of Mountain Hunting, which kind of coincided with Beyond the Kill podcast. So I just thought it'd be cool to reflect on some of that. So we get into a little bit of industry talk and share some of our thoughts on where things started and where they are today. Some dog talk, some hunt talk. Not much hunt talk. It's off season, so it's kind of lacking in a lot of these conversations. But it is what it is. Anyways, I have to update the ads. Sheep Week is today. It's happening. And it's always hard when you don't attend to see all the photos and stuff that they're posting as they're putting together the event center and the stage, and I'm feeling like I'm missing out. But next year is the 50th anniversary, so I'm going for that no matter what. But anyways, let's get into the episode. Sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 197 with Adam Janke.
Yeah, indeed. How what do you got on your mind? Am I just filler or what?
No, it's intentional. It's been a while, man. I got some things. We're gonna do a little rewind today.
Are we?
We are. And we're recording, so we might as well do the old classic. Just roll right into it. How you doing, brother?
Indeed. I'm good, man. I could complain. I won't complain. The whole like New Year thing.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, you're like, does it really make a difference? But regardless, I always find it an interesting time of year, right? Look back, look forward.
Yeah. Kind
of not forced to be in planning mode, but it is just that time where it seems to land for obviously most people, but certainly for us as well. So I'm excited for 2026, man.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm not much for New Year's resolutions and stuff either, but when it gets dark at 4:30, you're kind of left with the rest of the day going like, what should I be doing with my time? Because there's nothing to do outside. It's fucking dark, So.
Oh man, I can't remember if I've ever said this to you before, but growing up in Ontario, we had like legit real winters for almost all of my childhood, right? Like It was not uncommon to have many days around -20 and but not cloudy, like cold and clear.
Right.
And you'd meet people, this is coming from an Eastern perspective that would go down to Florida, for March break or whatever, or eventually start to hear people like, oh yeah, I spend the winters somewhere warm and hot and sunny, right? And I just always remember being like, you soft so-and-so. Come on, this is living, man.
Yeah.
But since moving west, and in particular as I've gotten older, that December, even like basically the whole month of December, where that daylight is just there ain't much of it.
Yeah.
I get it now. I really do get it. Like it just is that it's like you're just gearing down and just in first gear for so long. And,
Yeah.
and then, coming back to the New Year's thing, it's not the resolutions thing. It's more just kind of a like retrospective, what worked, what didn't, what do we need to change? And, let's try and make some changes, but not like resolution type changes, but more like, what do we need to do to plan better, around the family and other things, and make sure we got time to enjoy ourselves. And yeah, that's more the focus, or was more of the focus of late than, oh yeah, I'm going to do whatever, set these 7 habits or something like that.
Yeah. It never happens.
It never happens. Yeah.
We got something in common. We're both looking pretty gray on the old chin there.
Oh, buddy. Wait, I mean, I should take my hat off. There's a lot more salt than pepper in my hair these days. And I don't know if it's, just ages and stages, kids, and now this bloody dumb puppy we got.
Yeah.
Who turned 8 months. Yeah. She turned 8 months on Sunday, just yesterday.
Nice.
But yeah, the gray is overtaking the darker hair color for sure.
Yeah. It's the way she goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to congratulate you on 600 episodes and 10 years of BTK. That's pretty crazy, dude. You're always quiet about these landmarks, but I'm always the one that seems to bring it up.
You are. And well, and I appreciate the congratulations, but you and I both know full well that I wouldn't have gotten past episode probably 4 without, well, I don't remember exactly when you came into the fold.
I was trying to remember. I'm not too sure.
It was probably, it was more than 4 because I worked with a different, producer and operation for a while there, but I certainly wouldn't have gotten to 600 without you. So I should be thanking you, man, for dragging my butt along to do that many episodes. And they're not all me, right? Like Nolan did a lot of them.
Yeah.
Wardo was doing a bunch of them for a while there. So it's not, thankfully, not only my voice on all 600 of those episodes, but yeah, man, I mean, as Wardo and I laugh sometimes because I'm nothing if not stubborn. Right. At the end of the day, like, that if that ship is going down or it's sailing into, iceberg filled waters, you'll find me right there on it.
Your first episode was November 17th, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donnie Vincent. That's going way back, man. Like, do you remember the landscape of podcasting at that time?
Yeah. There was in the hunting space. I mean, shoot, in the whole podcast space. I don't know. I'm sure there was more than, I was aware of. In the hunting space, I think there was maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, there wasn't many.
In the broader podcast realm, Tim Ferriss had been going for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly can't think of another one at that. Or
I think
Rogan, right? Rogan would have been around for
Gritty
a while.
Guys had a hunting podcast. Meat Eater, I think,
did.
just started, or maybe shortly after you.
I don't think they were live yet. And then Jay Scott.
Right.
Honestly, I think he was the first hunting podcast. And again, I may not have seen something focused on, Eastern hunting, be that whitetail, waterfowl, upland, something like that. But certainly in the Western hunting space, I'm pretty sure Jay Scott was the first one.
Yeah, crazy. And at that time, man, people were still like, what is a podcast? Like the majority of people had no idea what it was.
Yeah. I mean, dude, what's wild about that is even until I would not say 5 years ago, I would say somewhere in the 2 to 4, split the difference, call it 3 years ago. And again, I mean, in the broader media landscape, not just hunting, there was still resistance to the notion of a podcast. Right now, you pick up a business book or you find some post about it, and it's in the list, right? It's in the list of things that maybe not everyone should do, but it's something to consider. I love the space. I really do. I mean, shoot, at this point, I wouldn't have done 600 episodes or been involved with 600 episodes if I didn't. I still have deep belief in, the platform that is podcasting.
Yeah.
But it is changing, right? I'm sure you're seeing this more even than I am. And this video focused, video first idea is interesting to me. I've got a hard time seeing that, not seeing the future of it, because obviously everything eventually ends up in some form of a video format these days. But I don't know that it's the best for podcasts. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been thinking about this too because it kind of bothers me because it's taken over. It's like if you're doing a podcast, it's got to be video. I'm like, well, no one wants to watch a fucking Zoom call. Like it's not that exciting, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
well, I'm recording video right now, but no one's going to see it ever.
Mm.
But like, I mean, if you've got visual elements to your show, but then is it a podcast anymore? Or is it a talk show? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I always think, I'm not gonna say was missed about podcasts, but I think people didn't really understand about why podcasts grew as fast as they did and have become what they've become is I think most people were listening to podcasts when they couldn't be on a screen, right? They're
Right.
driving in their vehicle to and from work, maybe they're at the gym or out on a run or a hike or walking their dog or cutting their grass or doing some gardening or some stuff around the house. You're otherwise like maybe not distracted, but involved in doing something,
Mhm.
but you can still listen and absorb, right? But with this move to, basically a video-based talk show, now you're just another thing on a screen, right? And there's obviously people being very successful at this.
Yeah.
But when you look at like the cost to do, say, a weekly episode with video, the production costs behind that, and the fact that it's just one more thing to watch on a screen, I don't know that it leverages the full or the purest strength, if you will, of a podcast, which is like you can't be doing anything else.
Yeah.
In most cases, when you're listening to a podcast, again, you're focused on the driving, you're focused on whatever it is that you're doing. When it becomes video based, am I going to look at Instagram? Am I going to look at, one of the other social media platforms? Am I going to go to YouTube? Am I going to put my streaming service on? Right? Like it's just into this big pile of other things that can pull at your attention.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I read some stats on it. And I mean, it's funny because they're kind of skewed a little bit because people are, consuming video podcasts, but they're just putting them on and listening to them, right?
Right.
They might be in the kitchen cooking something and it's on the TV, but they're not necessarily watching it. So it makes it seem like lots of people are consuming video, but they're still kind of doing it the same way and just listening to it. So it's interesting. It bothers me, but maybe that's because I'm just old school and I don't want things to change.
Two dudes with gray beards, waxing nostalgic, right? About the way it used to be, the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny though, man, because when we started, I think it was Apple Podcasts. That was it. Or it was just in the iTunes store. It wasn't even Apple Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
There was one hosting site. It was, what did we use? It was Skype for calls, which was absolutely terrible.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
which was cool, man, because we always sort of tried to do stuff in person. And we got better interviews. I always felt that way. And it was kind of like, for Kelly and I, was like, hey, if someone's not coming to the studio, we're not doing it. And then COVID rolls around and nobody's doing stuff in person anymore, which is kind of unfortunate.
Well, and I think like I've reached out to some guests over the years that ask, right, well, two things, right? Is it video, or is there like, do you publish the video? And like you said, like I just don't see how posting a Zoom call to YouTube is that valuable. Look, I get it. YouTube is, I think, still the second biggest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of growth-based reasons to do it. People can find your podcast on YouTube. They may not find it otherwise. So I understand all that stuff, but I just don't see the value in, publishing a Zoom call. But then the second question is, well, do you only do in person? And a few people have said, well, unless you want to come to me, I just don't think I can have a good conversation over, Zoom, or in this case, Riverside, or whatever it might be, right? And I can see that, right? Like I can understand that, but geez, man, like of the 600, I don't know, maybe a couple % of those were in person,
right?
So I do think it is doable, right? To have a good, as long as we can see each other like we can right now. The irony is we easily could have done this in person.
We could have.
But I think it's very doable, right? Like it is very doable to have a good, engaging conversation where you're not talking over each other, assuming that the connection's good. There's no lag or anything like that. Yeah, some people really do prefer that in-person setting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's quick enough now. And even like Kelly and I, we're not getting together anymore. He's doing it from his house and I'm here. And so
Life, man,
yeah,
life gets in the way of best laid plans. That's for sure.
yeah, exactly. It's funny. How long did you have the Journal of Mountain Hunting going before you started the podcast?
Just over a year. So the journal, I launched the journal August 2014. And then, as you said, the first episode of Beyond the Kill came out in November of 2015. So just over a year. And, coming back to what I was saying about I wouldn't be at 600 if it wasn't for your help and support and phenomenal work on the production side of things. It took me like a good 6 months longer to launch it than I wanted to, because I convinced myself like I can do this, right? Editing isn't that hard, right? And I would just stare at an audio file and my eyes would glaze over, and I don't know, I'd go look at cat videos or God knows what, right? Like it was my brain could not do it. And so I ended up hiring someone, I don't even remember how I found them, this podcast production agency to get it off the ground. And then you and I connected at, whatever, probably around, I'm going to guess somewhere around the 100 episode mark.
Somewhere around there, maybe just before, somewhere in there.
Probably. And yeah, we were just off to the races.
Yeah, it's funny. That was another situation where you invited me and Kelly to come on BTK, and we thought you were in Vancouver. And it turned, I think for some reason, I think we were recording from Kelly's place, and then turns out you were like 5-minute walk away. Just right up the hill.
Yeah, that's right. Just up the hill from Kelly's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys are where?
Yeah.
Pause. Let's meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Record this on the side of the street.
But you were recording your interviews that were meant to be like for written content. And then that's how you decided like, okay, this is going to be a podcast, right?
Yeah. So we used to run a column, as I would think of it, in sort of like a traditional print media sense, on the Journal of Mountain Hunting website called Blazing Trail, where I would interview people that had either a long history or recently were doing something really new and different in the hunting space. So people like Jason Hairston at Kuyu, Jim Shockey, Ranella, Remy Warren. Oh, I'm forgetting some people that are worth mentioning. Anyways, it was a really interesting group of people, but I would like do that interview over the phone, record that through some wonky little app that was really not very good, export the transcript, and then sit down and edit that into a classic like written interview format, question, answer. And the hours that would go into that, man, were just like, if I had to guess, it's probably 10 hours between, the actual interview, the editing of the transcript, which, we all think how I speak is how we write. And
spoken word is a disaster.
Oh, it is a disaster to turn into like an easy to read written format.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure I was a pretty regular listener of Tim Ferriss's show, and just kind of dawned on me, I'm like, this would be so much easier to just record these conversations and publish them.
Yeah.
Right. And lo and behold, that led to the podcast.
That's crazy, man. Time flies, eh?
Sure does.
So I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Why did you start the journal in the first place? You went from being a foot doctor of some sort. What were you exactly?
Well, not a foot doctor, a Canadian board certified podorthist, which is not the same as a podiatrist. A podiatrist is a foot doctor.
Okay.
My certification designation, whatever you want to call it, was different, with some overlap but different. Well, I'll try not to be overly long-winded on this. Couple things. I started my business doing the podorthist stuff. So people understand what that is, it's looking at lower limb injuries. So in the strictest sense possible, injuries below the knee, mostly to include foot and ankle, but of course the body's all connected. So you end up working with hip and back issues and injuries as well. And looking at ways to alleviate those injuries or, symptoms, whatever they may be, through the use of things like custom foot orthotics or over-the-counter insoles. I leaned heavily into, stretches and exercises as a complement to that stuff. So I started a business doing that in 2007. Yeah, 2007. Sold it in 2012 to a bigger competitor and was working with them, after they bought the company. It's pretty typical stuff, right? Especially with a smaller business, you sell it. They want to keep the owner founder around to make sure that things don't just fall apart, right? That happened to coincide with us having our first kid, and just your mind changes after that, right? Like, what do you prioritize? How do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to spend your time? What kind of a future do you want to build? I'm prone to spending too much time thinking about that stuff, but having a kid definitely put those sort of thoughts at the top of my mind. And things with the company that had bought my company were fine, but they were a very old, very successful, established company that just moved at a snail's pace in everything that they did. Right. And I just wasn't a good environment for me.
Yeah, you don't move like that at all.
No, I don't. And I've still keep in contact with, the CEO of that company. He's a great guy. And we parted on really good terms. And that also coincided with us looking to move out of the Vancouver area. I had been pretty engaged in the mountain hunting space as just a dude, right? That was basically obsessed with it. And the way I typically tell the story is, I was sitting at my desk just waiting for the next blog post from either Sitka or Kuyu, because those were the only two companies putting out like really interesting, engaging content. And again, just blog forms, the odd, like maybe 1-2 films a year, but just couldn't wait for that next bit of content for them to come out. And in between that stuff, where do you spend your time? For us in BC, that was Hunting BC. For people in the US, probably Rockslide, maybe a few other forums out there that I wasn't as aware of.
Right.
But there just wasn't a lot of like great ways to learn and continue to obsess over this thing, mountain and backcountry hunting, while you weren't doing it. And so for me, it was kind of scratching my own itch of, well, I can't be the only one that thinks this and feels this and wants more and wants like a dedicated publication, albeit digital, but a publication nonetheless.
Yeah.
For the mountain and backcountry hunting space. And there wasn't anything. I mean, Eastman's was out there, obviously Western Hunter, which ends up being sort of part of the story here as well.
Yeah.
But still very Western US focused by and large, right? Like nobody was really showcasing, I guess would be the way to put it. BC, Alberta to an extent, the territories, and just this epic playground we have to go and hunt in, right?
Yeah.
And so when I was getting more and more frustrated at the company that had bought my company, the sort of entrepreneurial itch became intolerable, and started to think about how might I do this? I'd never built a website or anything like that before. I mean, I didn't know squat about media marketing. One of my favorite stories to tell on this is after launching the Journal of Mountain Hunting, I got an email from one of the guys at First Light, I don't know, like a couple months after I'd launched it. And they were like, hey, can you send over a media kit for us? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I go right over to Google. What is a media kit? I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, I mean, the inspiration was to learn, right? For myself and for others to provide a platform for, sure, inspiration and entertainment, but mostly education and opinions and tackling, meaningful subjects. And then it bears mentioning, one of the most important parts of it was I wanted to focus on long form content, right? Like you'd look at like an Eastman's or a Western Hunter, and they do a great job. They've been around for a long time. And I know the Western Hunter guys quite well now, or the whole team there, not just guys and gals. And they're like, yeah, our article word cap is 1,200, 1,500 max, right? Because we only have so many pages. We got to set aside so many pages for advertising.
Right.
We got to get the pictures in there. And that's fine and that's great. And obviously, since then, our attention spans have gotten narrower and narrower and narrower, right? But I felt like it's pretty hard to tell a good story in 1,500 words, especially
Yeah.
some of these, expedition style hunts where one day could be a few thousand words of this
Yeah,
adventure,
absolutely.
what
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
right, what goes wrong, what could I do better, all that sort of stuff, right? And when I say what could I do better, I want to be super clear on this part. I never ever started the journal or started doing Beyond the Kill to become a hunting personality.
Right.
I'm, in fact, quite allergic to any form of attention. It's not why I do this. Never why I
Yeah,
started it.
likewise. Yeah, yeah.
And and there's a downside to that. When you're in the media business and you don't really seek out attention at every chance you can get, comes at a cost, man. But
Well, yeah, considering when we started these, we should be we should be doing very well.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of shoulda in my
Yeah.
in my history, buddy. A lot of shoulda. But no, honestly, like for those who do that from a place of overused term, but authenticity, fill your boots, right? If you are somebody that can do that well and do it true to you, I have nothing but the highest respect for anybody,
Yeah.
doing what they're ideally suited to do. But there's a lot of people playing a game because it's a game and are using all the tips and tricks you can just to grow reach and grow your presence in the
Yeah.
space, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'll say this now and it might derail our conversation, but I honestly, and I've kind of come to this in the last little while, I'm not overly impressed with where hunting media is at right now. And I feel like this pursuit, no matter where you go, where you hunt, is far too sacred and important to be turned into a dog and pony show.
I agree, man. Yeah. It's I don't I for that reason I don't consume a lot of hunting media of any type, podcasts or videos or anything. I kind of it's part of the reason why I backed away from doing the podcast for a while. I just want this for myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I have to share everything that I'm doing and take photos of everything I'm doing. And, it got to a point where it just didn't feel like authentic to what I wanted to do. And I had to rethink, what I was doing and what my, whole purpose of doing this show is. And so, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And it's, there's a threshold, right? And there's a cost to not crossing that threshold in terms of reach and whatever the economic model is behind the the podcast or the website or the YouTube channel, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you don't need to spend too much time on YouTube to realize there's a way to go about it that and I'm not picking on YouTube, this could be said about any platform. There's a way to go about it that is going to get you more reach and going to get you more eyeballs. But I just have no interest in being a 46-year-old man that looks like he's talking to 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right. Like the thumbnail of that is, I get it. I understand that it works. It's just, I'm just not wired that way.
Yeah.
And look, there's, when you're really close to and involved in a community, I think a person can be a little bit more critical of it than maybe they should, right? Compared to, whatever, pick some other outdoor pursuit. So I'm not saying like hunting's unique in that this sort of attention whoring approach to things is only in hunting. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's more at stake,
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, a ski resort's not going to get closed down unless they just aren't good at business.
Right.
Right. The hunting's been, under some form of strain in terms of opportunity or access or whatever it might be for a long time, man. And it feels like that's not as important to certain people in this space
Mm-hmm.
as I guess I can only say I think it should be.
Yeah, for sure. Gonna switch gears in a minute, but I wanted to definitely sort of honor your over a decade now of doing all this stuff, man, and 600 episodes. It's pretty rad. So
I appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah.
I know you don't like compliments, but I'm giving you one anyways.
No,
it's admirable, man, that you stuck through it. And so, I mean, we didn't start long after you. We're coming up on 200 episodes. So you can see how committed we were to this. But doing it every week, just about, for 10 years, man, that's a huge commitment.
Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. I really do. And I'm not just, catching the grenade and throwing it back to you by saying I couldn't have done it without your phenomenal work on the back end, but that is true. And you I hesitate to say this. You could charge me a lot more than you do, and I would be left with no choice, to be honest. Because
well, good to know.
I ain't going.
Keep an eye out for the next invoice.
I ain't going anywhere. I've got my guy, to put it mildly.
Well, perfect. Hey, is there? I'm gonna put you on the spot with this one, but one interview that jumps out at you for 600 that was the one that whatever.
Great question. I mean, the first one with Donnie was, and the 100th, right? So I did number 1 with Donnie, and then I did number 100 with Donnie, and that one was in person up at Ben's.
Yeah, right. I remember that one.
Camp. Yeah, those stand out. One, because of Donnie's presence in our space, and the way he has always gone about storytelling.
Yeah,
those certainly come to mind. A lot of the conversations with Gray. Wild Sheep Foundation, Gray Thornton, for those who don't know who I'm talking about. Really meaningful, really impactful. I mean, shoot, the one, I think it was episode 599 with John Stallone from Howl. Another one that was really interesting to kind of get inside a conservation org, and one that tackles the issue of conservation very differently from, say, WSF or WSSBC, et cetera. Here where they're at. So, there's some recency bias to that one with John, but most of those, or sorry, when I say most of those, most of the ones that were conservation oriented, and there was some great storytelling and great story time with a few people, but those would be the ones that jump to mind.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. Well, congrats, dude. We were talking about mistakes that we've made, and you and I have another one in common, and that's buying pointers repeatedly. And I'm on my second one, and you got, as you mentioned at the beginning, an 8-month-old pup now. How's that going?
Mike, it's going as well as should have been expected.
Yeah.
Someone was asking us this yesterday, and Julia, my wife, often jumps in and cuts me out when people ask, how's it going with the dog? Because I get this look of stress and, fatigue that just washes over my face. And
maybe that's why we both have so much gray hair with the fucking dogs.
It could be, man. It could be. I wouldn't be surprised. She's a good pup. She's a GSP, right? So what do you expect? She's going to do GSP things. I don't think I told you this, but she disappeared on me for almost an hour the other day.
Oh no, she pulled a Toby.
Right? And so here's the kind of the funny part of the story. But I said this to Julia yesterday. We were talking to some friends, and I'm like, my negativity, as Julia would put it, doesn't come from different expectations of the dog. It's my self-loathing for agreeing to do this in the first place, because we had one of these before, right? We know that you're signing up to try and fly an F-35 with no instruction manual, and you're likely to crash and burn at some point. And the mistake I made is because Toby was, or I should say we made, Toby was a rescue. We don't know exactly how old he was when we got him, but around a year was every vet's best guess. And there was always that hope, right? And hope is not a plan, but that hope that, well, if we just had him as a puppy, we could have trained all this frustration out of him. And then you just come to realize, oh no, this is just pointing breed dogs, and they do this stuff, right? And and funnily, when we picked her up, we met the breeder, and we're chatting with her, and it's I don't know if it's a husband and wife or brother sister. Anyways, it's kind of confusing on that front. But she turns to me at one point, and she's like, the other half of the operation would kill me if he knew I told you this, but Stormy is our pup. Her dad disappeared for 4 days.
Oh no.
Came back. They always come back, man.
Yeah.
They always come back. But she's like, yeah, so, just make sure you really work on recall. And we have been, but she's now an 8-month-old pup with a pointer nose, and
yeah,
she does what she wants to do sometimes.
Yeah, I've got a whole list of stuff that I tried to do differently, that I did wrong with Oscar. Is there a few things that you're trying to do with Stormy that maybe you didn't? Like for me, it was separation anxiety. That was the big one I had to overcome with Earl, because that was probably the biggest thing with Oscar, was just the shit he would do when he was left alone.
Yeah. I mean, probably handled that a little bit differently. We dealt with that with Toby for sure. Both of us, both Julie and I at the time, this pre-kids when we got him, were both in work environments. For me, my own business.
Yeah.
And Julia worked at a place where it was very dog friendly, so he was able to either go to her office or most of the time come with me. And so it took some work to then get to the point where he could be in a crate or even just home on his own for extended period of time of whatever you want to go out for a couple hours. We started on the crate training right away with
Nice.
Stormy, and so she's doing pretty well on that. The destruction around the house is just, I'm chalking up at this point at least to puppiness, right?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Geez, man, the number of things she's destroyed it's a long list. And honestly, like the one that was always the challenge with Toby, and what we hoped we would overcome just through having her as a puppy, building that bond really early, and having her want to be with us when we're outside. That's the one we thought we were making good progress on.
Right.
And she has good days or even good weeks where she won't range out further than maybe 500 yards, right? And then you can see her like looking back to see where I am or my wife is. And but in the last month or so, it seems like pointer brain has taken over and she just doesn't care. So the next step for us is we haven't gone to an e-collar or anything like that.
Just going to ask you that. I still use mine. It works great.
And we used one with Toby. And again, one, you would hear varied, I guess, opinions on when to start with the e-collar, right? And most of it was 6 months plus. So she's there now, right? Like we can definitely start. But yeah, we need to get on that because it's the voice commands are not working as well as they were actually for quite a long time.
Are you working on training her to hunt birds or anything, or?
She's definitely birdie. There's no question about that. So the desire, like the inborn innate desire, is absolutely there. Interestingly, she seems as interested in. It's a lot of the word interesting and interested there. Sorry. She seems to be as keyed in on deer as she does birds right now. And I don't know if that's, again, a puppy phase of just everything's prey to her.
Yeah.
Right. But done a little bit of bumper work with her. She's not like big on retrieve yet. Toby was he just got retrieving almost instantly.
Nice.
So she might need a little bit more work on that. Like, I think that can happen with GSPs, right? They can be really good at finding and pointing, but then they're just like, yeah, okay, that's your problem from here on out, not mine, So that's on my list of things to start working with her is, long lead, bumper, et cetera, et cetera. There's no question she's into birds. Like She,
Right.
dude, like it was like a week ago. I was out in the backyard with one of the boys and throwing a ball around, and he turns to me or he goes, "Hey, Dad, turn around." I look, and she's on her back legs, balancing, walking on the two legs sideways down the hedges because there's a bird's nest or a couple of birds' nest in the hedge.
Yeah.
And she just went like down and back. I swear she was on her back legs balanced for like a minute. I didn't have my phone on me. Otherwise I would have taken a video because it was like a little like T-Rex pterodactyl sort
That's
of
hilarious.
position. Right. So, yeah. And she'll sit at the back door and we get quail that come through the backyard and stuff like that, or some little songbirds that flit around and just sits there and just vibrates. So it's there. It's just a matter of training her sufficiently to leverage it. And I really want to. I never really hunted much with Tobes. Went out a few times, but cruising roads and spruce grouse and stuff
Right.
like that. I'd like to really use her as a proper upland bird dog.
For sure.
So yeah, this 8-month mark, I think, is where you can really start to hone in on the training. The more advanced training, I guess I would say, versus the basic stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the collar that I have, man, it's, I don't know if you would call it, it's not necessarily like an e-collar, but it is a radio collar. So you can like beep, vibrate, or if they're doing something bad, there's a shock option, which I don't like to use. And if I have to, I'm not going to, crank it all the way up. But it's been super helpful because his prey drive is like to the max. And same thing with deer and stuff. You'd, see a deer and you'd want to chase that thing. Now, just from using that collar and going out with him every day, like no interest in them at all. He'll watch them, but it was always when they would start to run. And that was like the trigger for him, and he would be gone chasing them. And I don't know how long I had him for, maybe just a few months, and he disappeared. Luckily, he ended up at a trailer park down below this trail we were on, and the guy ended up phoning me, but he chased some coyotes, I think is what happened, or they lured him down the trail because we'd always run into him there. But now I don't worry about any of that stuff. I don't even bring a leash with him anymore. I just put that collar on. We run. Nice. He can be like way the hell behind me and call him and beep, and then he's, eventually shows up. So hope that gives you a little bit of hope. But I mean, they're at that stage where they're like teenagers, right? They're just
100%
all over the map. So
yeah, no doubt. And I've got a, it's on our list of things to get squared away this month is the right e-collar. My stumbling point on this is like, not do we need one? It's do we get one with tracking as well?
Right.
Because we should have had one with tracking with Toby. We just honestly got to a point with him where we're like, either comes back or he doesn't. We'll be sad if he doesn't, but I'm not spending $1,000 on a GPS collar, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy to say, I know, given how much, we all care about our dogs, but it was just one of those things where it was just a bridge too far, right? But with her, and prices have come down significantly on all this sort of tech, right?
Yeah, I'll ask Garrett because he's got 2 hounds and he's got the e-collars. I'll find out what he's got and let you know, see if he's got a review for you.
Yeah, that'd be great to know. To know. And you can get like for quite a reasonable price actually, like a tracking only collar.
Okay.
Right. Which that's also part of, where my head's at is, do we bite the bullet on that first? So at least, because look, as you just went through it, getting the e-collar doesn't mean snap your fingers. The dog is all of a sudden perfect. Like there's a training process and timeline there. And like right now we don't let her off leash. I go and backpack with her a ton and walk, we walk around the neighborhood with her, which is pretty hilly where we are. So, there's some exercise there, but she's not going out and going, mock Jesus the way she likes to and just like stretch her legs and stuff like that. Right. Which then turns into, as you and I both know well, destructive behavior indoors. Right. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I'm leaning towards just getting one of these, more simple tracking only collars, not the big GPS ones, the hound collars. And also then get an e-collar and eventually work through that training, but at least know, as long as I know where she is, right? I can hike up to go and get her and call her
Yeah.
back and
Yeah, for
that
sure.
sort of stuff, right? And you and I also know, I think if you spend time in the same places regularly, you know, if you have a place you guys go and run frequently for Stormy, we take her out into the green space here back behind the house, right before it turns into Crown, right?
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain there's probably just 2 or 3 pockets in there where she just gets into birds and goes there almost every time, right? And
Right.
some of these tracking collars, like these more modern ones that don't come from like that sporting dog hound, lineage. They do like real time tracking, so you can look and see, oh, she spent 10 minutes just in this one spot, right? Just having that confidence
Yeah, for sure.
to know that, because it's not hard around here, as you know, for a dog to get down into like a little bench or a little hollow right between benches, and she may only be 200 yards away. She's just not coming when you call.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And just be able to hike up there and give her a stern talking to and drag her home.
Do you think you'll attempt any big game hunts with her?
No.
No.
That's a too much to worry about, in my opinion. Right? Sure, like I could put in the time to have her heal perfectly and not spook game and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They take enough of our time and energy that if I'm going to go into the backcountry on like a backpack hunt, it's time for a break from the dog.
Yeah, do you want to make it count too?
And I want to make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I get it, and there was a period there where we thought about going with a different breed. And, I started to get quasi serious about, what would be just a good mountain mutt, right? That will just stick by you no matter what you're doing, where you're going, doesn't run off, doesn't chase anything. But yeah, I mean, for better or worse, we went with another GSP.
Nice. Well, we'll keep that story going. We'll see how things progress.
We'll see.
For you. That's fun though, dude, man. She probably looks like a full-on dog now. Last time I saw her, she was still looking like a pup.
She seems to be lagging in terms of her growth trajectory. Like she's 41 or 42 pounds, something like that. She's above average height, which you would think means she's going to fill out at some point here. But yeah, she definitely is getting closer and closer to full size. And man, like those dogs can go. Oh, can they go? The athleticism of the breed of these breeds, Wines, Vizslas, GSPs, is something to behold. It is as frustrating as they are, and they are frustrating. When you see them do what they're meant to do, it is, it's pretty astounding to watch.
Yeah. They're awesome. Obviously, that's the reason why you and I both got another one. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. They are awesome. And inside, like she's such a sweetheart. And yes, she, does goofy, stupid puppy things, but she, and this is where she's really different from Toby. Toby was a very aloof pointer, like did not care. We'd meet other people and dogs on a trail or something like that, and he would almost like rudely just walk through the middle of them.
Oscar was like that too. If he didn't know you, get away. Like he just had nothing to do with people. Yeah.
Stormy will see somebody at the bottom of a trail from like a little knob, and she will come down at full tilt and like launch herself at them, being like, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, let's play." And then she'll like nip other dogs in the faces, trying to, play with them. It's like she's hyper social. So really, really different in that regard. And, Toby, when he would get in shit, he would like go to another room and find the darkest corner to hide in from me.
Right.
She just is like, sucks up like a cat, or like weaves between my legs, nose up at me constantly, ears back, like, "Oh, please don't hate me, please love me."
That's hilarious.
She has a very sweet disposition, and it's hard to stay. I'll put it this way: it's really hard to stay angry at her, which happens a lot.
Nice, dude. Well, we'll have to get the dogs together at some point. Go for a hike or something.
Yeah, we do. She would love that.
You can tell it's the off season because I don't even think we've really talked about hunting at all. But how was your season?
It was decent. These last couple of years, I just by nature of home and family, in particular, kid responsibilities around stuff they're involved with, haven't been able to do as much hunting as I used to. I used to average somewhere around 60 days a year.
Yeah.
In the field, and I'm lucky to get 2-3 weeks nowadays. Not complaining. I know that that's plenty by most people's standards, but as somebody who works, quote unquote, in the business,
yeah,
definitely less than I was. Which I'm just putting other priorities first, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I went to Vancouver Island for a bear hunt back in late April, early May. First time I did that. It's been on my list for a while. That was an awesome trip. Not very arduous, right? Like we were just on the salt in a boat all day, every day. Sweet, from sun up till sundown. And then, when we get into a bear, we'd put a stock on them. Went with our bows. I did a couple of bow stocks, passed on one at sub 30 yards. Pretty average bear. And you don't go to Vancouver Island for an average bear, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And had a good one that my limit was 40 yards. And I had it it was 44.
No.
Almost convinced myself to take the shot. Frankly, good judgment took over, and it turned and started to walk away from me. So like head away.
Yeah. And
I'm like, oh, this is my moment to make a move. And there's this big ass, coastal tree up on the beach. And I go to do like scissor myself over it. Right? Like, one leg over, sit and pause, next leg over. I'm literally like, riding this tree like a horse, and the bear just turns around and looks at me. I'm like, oh, and took off.
That was it. Yeah.
Took a hard right into the rainforest. And once they're off the beach, never to be seen again. Right. I ended up taking one with the rifle. Good bear with the rifle.
Nice.
It was in a spot we couldn't put a bow stock on, way out on this big grassy estuary that like there was no bow stock available. So got a good bear. Wardo was there with Wardo and Lauren Trousdale, and he Wardo got a bear with the bow.
Nice.
And we did a bunch of fishing every morning, caught a ton of lingcod, and just a great trip, man.
It's so nice when you can mix that in with it too, man. Like fishing or hunting on the ocean is great because you're going to be putting out traps or something like that at the very least. So
yeah, so that was actually my longest trip this of 2025. We were there just over a week. We were away just over a week. We had 6 or 7 hunting days and a couple of days on either end of travel. And we were way up, like almost up the northern tip of Vancouver Island, which I love, man. I love going to these like outposts, right? Where it is the end of the road. It just hits different in those sort of places. And then this fall, smashed my forehead against the concrete wall of elk hunting in the Okanagan.
Yeah.
Which didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Went out and hunted with my buddy Hart in his home zone, and had a really close encounter there. At a 5-point come in, a really big, nice 5-point come in to like 40 yards. But 5 points, 5 point. Unfortunately, that's not legal for us. And then a little bit of whitetail hunting, let's call it close-ish to home here. And I've come to really enjoy that, like late November, if I'm going to go out with the bow in December, like late season, quote unquote mountain whitetail hunting. Like it's still hunting by and large, or, sitting in a spot where you're expecting them to come out. Did a few days of that. And yeah, man, it was a good season. Didn't cut as many tags as I would have liked, but can't complain, man.
Yeah, for sure. Any big plans for this year, or just playing it by ear?
Yeah, I've been building points in Wyoming for.
Oh, nice.
This will be. Well, I've got 8 years of points built, which now has me at a point where, for some of the units I've been looking at, as close to a guaranteed draw as you can get without really knowing for sure. It's not like LEH for us, right? Like the point system, you've got a pretty good sense of whether your chances are better than not. And so I actually was just chatting with a guy today who's been helping me kind of get my head wrapped around units and
Right.
the whole application process. He charges a small fee for this sort of stuff, but honestly,
Worth it. Yeah.
worth it. And the guy's just full of knowledge. And so I should draw this tag for the unit I have in mind. I want to do it with the bow because the BC archery elk season is maybe not pointless, but damn close to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
This is for elk?
This is for elk. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Man, like how many times have we all watched some video to the US, some elk hunt where you're like, I haven't heard that many bugles in 10 years. That's one day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I'd like to go and get into like just one of those hunts, right? Where it's maybe not necessarily elk everywhere, but there's much bigger populations of elk in most of these states that are worth going to hunt elk in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to cash those points in this year. And
Sweet.
Assuming that I do, I'll make a fairly big trip out of that. That'll be the number one priority for the year for sure.
Sweet. Yeah. Beautiful down there too, man. That'll be pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool, man. Well, it's good catching up with you. We were just joking before. It's like, we talk to each other every week to some capacity, but it's rare that we actually hang out and chat.
Yeah. Multiple times a week, whether it's text, email, phone call if needed, etc.
Yeah, exactly. But we're due for a beer.
We are. And it's, dude, it's funny, man, how like I've still got some, number of really good buddies back in Ontario, and I don't get back as often as I'd like, but when I do, we try to all get together, and there's always this like looming sense of FOMO, right? Like, oh, what have I missed out on?
Right.
Like these guys must be spending it's like university days. They're spending all their time together, and we'll sit down and one of them will turn to the other one and be like, man, I haven't seen you in 6 months. How you been? And just life, man, life and age. And, whatever it is, whether it's work or family or dog, or the responsibilities are such that it's just hard to fit in as much social time as you should. But that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be a priority. So I agree.
Sure.
We need to grab a beer.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep in touch. And I know you got family rolling in the door here any second. So appreciate you coming on, man. And another 10 years of podcasting or what?
I don't know, man. Don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
There was part of me that thought, would 600 be it? But lo and behold, 601 and 602 are on the schedule, and
perfect.
I'll keep doing it for now. We'll see. I don't know what the longevity is on it. I don't know what the future is for it, but it's still doesn't really feel like a job, right? Like
it's good.
Get on with a good guest and somebody interesting and have a conversation. Like coming back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show, right? Like you go to video, and again, understanding all the reasons to do that, but there's I think more of a performative element to that versus just hopping on the mics and, it's like being around a campfire, and just having a good conversation. And I still enjoy it, I guess is what I'm trying to spit out.
Likewise. Well, that's good. As long as you enjoy it, keep doing it.
Indeed.
Cool, buddy. We'll, till next time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on.
There you go. Episode 197. Got a couple more to go, and we're going to hit 200. Not quite 600 like Adam has achieved over the last 10 years, but it's never too late, right? We'll get there eventually. I've got an exciting guest for episode 200 lined up. Hopefully everything pans out the way I'm planning it to. You never know until things are recorded if it's going to happen or not. But this is a person I have a great deal of respect for, somebody who's been on before. And when I thought about, hey, who do I want to have on for episode 200? This person came to mind right away. So I think you guys will enjoy that when it happens. I'm looking forward to the conversation. But that's it for this week. I'll be back next week with who knows what. So we'll see you then. Cheers.